Again, you do not want to run air lines through the side of your truck. Always under. You don't want to scratch this paint. At this point, go ahead and grab these, throw them to the bottom, back under, pull tight. And again, 2 zip ties, just keep them up there.
That plug he's pulling out, all these brake liners, they've added that plug.
Okay? Once we have that, we're going to go ahead and roll these back on the deck for now. I like to zip tie these lines up to the front just to keep them off the ground and keep them from scratching anything, you know what I mean? Very carefully, try to keep away from the paint. Just a nice one. Keep them out of the way. Okay? At this point, we're ready to move the truck forward. Since I do have my landing gear because we disconnected, I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything's out of my way. Everything is clear. I'm going to put this unit flat on the ground. Looking for somebody? What's that? This unit all the way underneath the truck. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to set a board underneath this just to give me enough space so I don't drag my my T in the ground.
Okay.
Now, it'd be okay here in the concrete. When you're doing it out in gravel, you don't want to do that because you'll get rocks all inside that and it'll start jamming, you know what I mean? So get it off the ground. I'm going to set it here. Just get it off a little bit. Just enough to give you enough space to clearly off the ground and extend. We're going to go ahead and extend now. And as you extend, you just make sure you're not hitting nothing under there, you know what I mean? Let me get you a leg.
Good.
All right, that's full extension. I come in just a hair. I'm gonna go ahead and come up. Get this board underneath, out, and get it flat on the ground. That's where I want it. Flat. Now we can go ahead and move this truck the rest of the way to our mark.
Bingo.
If for some reason you didn't make it all the way to the front of the boom or you weren't comfortable, you can always walk it back with the spider, center section of the boom. You're able to move that back and forth by placing a piece of board under it, getting that weight on that piece of it, and it'll move forward or back. And let me show you just a quick so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and come up a little bit. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just walk it out because I'm already where I really want to be on the inside. So I throw that board right there underneath that spider and I move my chalk block out a little bit because it's going to go forward. And again, you can move it back or forward wherever you're needing it at. Move my chalk. Okay, I'm going to set weight back on that now. The weight's on it. Now I'm going to go ahead and move it. See how you can walk that back or forth depending on what you need. Okay? Now this is where I want mine. Right there. We're just going to go ahead and leave it. I think we did pretty good. Just running on it. Get my lifting points and set our wood underneath these tires, okay?
All right.
I'm going to start off with a 2x4 at the bottom. And what this creates is a kind of like a seesaw, a teeter that we like to call. Depending on the placement of that board, it'll be what determines how much lift you get at that back end. So So I'm gonna go ahead and come up just a bit. I don't want to get into my stuff. So just come up high enough to do what you gotta do. I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna try to get that teeter back there. You see that? That's high enough. At this point, I'm gonna go back there and I'm gonna put a 4x6 and it'll show here on this video where I'm coming back. At the back, I take this 4x6 and just place it underneath this tee. Just like so. I'm gonna scoot it over. I'll show you. Move the back one. Back one. Oh, move the back one. I need to travel that way. Now watch it. So since my boom is cocked over a little bit, what I did, I moved a little bit of my chalk blocks because at this point I can actually move it over to get it centered. Just like so. We'll go ahead and come up, set that weight on that board. We're going to come back here to the front and we're going to remove this board, come down, and I'm going to go ahead and get this plate back underneath my axle. And on this here axle plate, you do have different holes for depending the position on the axle. Your axle sometimes is a bit more forward, you have more options. Further back, these Freightliners seem to be using the last hole, pretty much. I'm gonna go ahead and come in right there. Right here in touch the center. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and put this board right underneath it. Okay? That way it keeps me away from ever touching this oil pan. That board right there will help me, and we're gonna get our first lift here, boys. Okay? And since this truck has a low bumper, we're only gonna go high enough to put a 2x4 underneath it. That way I can get more space, okay? So as soon as I can stick a 2x4 under this tire, we're where we wanna be. We don't want to get into the bumper at all. Right? Okay? So come back down.
Let the bitch down.
To come down, I gained more space. As you can see, we're going to go ahead and put this other one underneath it. And make sure these are centered. You don't want them over to one side because if it slips, it falls and everything comes down. Put it directly underneath the axle. Now we're going to go ahead and come up. This will allow us to get our 8-inch blocks underneath, which is two 4x6s, a 3-foot 4x6 and a 16-inch 4x6. We're going to go ahead and get those on here, and that'll be our working height. Okay? Yeah! My controller's not working. And I like to come down at the valve, me personally. This control's got one speed, it's hurry up. And I don't like it. So we're gonna go to the valve. Nice and easy, just right here. Nice and easy, all the way down. I can control how fast it goes down here. I can't control it on the control. Okay? We're back to where we want to be. We're gonna go ahead and stop that right here. Go check this out. Blocks, and I showed you how we went down and easy, slow on the valve. Now we got to this point. We're gonna go ahead and go back underneath this truck. We're gonna do our lift, and we're gonna set our board to the teeter motion. So somewhere around in here, and we're gonna get these babies out of the way. So what I want is the back to raise up so I can throw my chain on. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and come down. And you want that about 12 to 15 inches off the ground. That's where you want to be at, hooked up. You go any higher, your cab will be over 13.6. And you will have to watch low crossings, you know what I mean? If you do it 12 to 15, you'll be about 13.6, 13.4.
So you saying ground level?
Key to do what we wanted. Now we're gonna go ahead and install this because we got it off the floor where we wanted it. What we do here is run this chain, and you have these different holes for depending how wide you sometimes you got wide drive shafts or right over the U-joints and stuff like that, you go wider. We're gonna go narrow because we've hooked up to these trucks, we know where we want it. Throw a snap pin behind it. Alright, now you'll find your easiest way to go in, which obviously this is not it. Go over to the passenger side, got more clearance. Okay, what I like to do is put this big piece here. I'll grab this chain. And I'll come in. And then I'll throw this chain over. Okay, ready? Once we do that, I can go ahead and put this to the back. Go ahead and set it. Okay, that being in place, you go down to the bottom. You're going to run this chain right through the center of these arms. And back up. So you're going to try to set it where you have almost no slack. Sometimes you'll have just a hair. So I got about 2 inches of slack. That's not bad. Let me see if I can get one more link on it. If I can, I want it. Which I can. So we're going there. There it is. Okay? And we're going to see if I'm centered. I want to move over about an inch this way. See, we're not quite center. We want to move over. We're going to come in here to our manual valve. Now this valve is ran manually. This lever here is up, down. This lever here is side to side. And this lever here is for this neck. And you'll only use this neck when you're transporting with your pickup. Other than that, this sucker stays closed. When you're going with your semis, I want it shut all the way and make sure you have your bolts on. Very important. Never leave without it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and drop landing gear. And I just want to get high enough, don't want to get into anything at the bottom, so you just want to go high enough where we can move. Get some pressure off these wheels, make sure you're not getting into anything. That looks about right. Just come over. A little bit more? Okay. We ran out of space going this way. What you'll do is, I done ran the ram all the way. What I'll do is go back down move over, and do it again. Now I let back down. And then we allow it to good. All right, we're done. We're gonna go ahead and get it off the ground. You don't need it anymore. Make sure it's centered because sometimes when you do go to work and it's not centered, you'll catch these fenders. You just want to make sure you're kind of centered. Know what I mean? Just where it won't catch them. I got clearance here, clearance there. We won't need it for now. Go ahead and set this box if you want to. Now we're ready to work down here. We're ready to install everything that goes with the hookup. What I got here are these forks. We call them forks. That will go underneath in that spider. When them holes that I showed, that's where those will be located in. We got one of those, and we got what we call a U-clamp. And that will be also going over the axle, tying it into the plate, making it solid. Then we got another thing called a ratchet binder. Ratchet binder will go on your leaf springs. Depending on the width of the leaf spring is what you will use as the hook. We have 3 different hooks, a large, a small, and a medium. And I'm going to bring them out so you can see them. So those are the different sizes, small, medium, and large. All depending to what spring you got. I know that we might be going to the smaller, the medium on these particular trucks. So I'm going to leave these 2 out just in case. Go ahead and put this one back. All right. So we've gotten to this far point where everything's going to be ready to hook up. We're on 8-inch blocks. We're centered in the front, centered in the back. We got our back chain tied up to where we want it. We're ready to work under the axle. And we're going to take these here forks and they'll sit in these holes depending to where I need it. You will need a 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch socket and wrench, preferably if it had a end with an impact. We're going to go ahead and move this into position. I'm going to go ahead and move the spider forward at the time so I can have space. And we're going to go on the outside hose because the oil pan is too close. So we're going to go ahead and go in, drop it, and you have this slider that goes with this fork. You have different sizes for different axles. Some you got big axles, square axles. You'll have to use a bigger one. But this particular one will take this one. I'll go ahead and slide it in a little bit now. My partner's going to do the same on the other side. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move this back into place. Okay, we're going to come out. Move back in.